Niners Chiefs Super Bowl rematch. We are just one day away. Has Brock Purdy learned from his mistakes in that game to overcome Kansas City this week? And could we see possibly the debut of Ricky Pearsall? Something really weird is happening in San Francisco. We'll get to all of it on today's Gold Diggers podcast, brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino. What is good, everybody? Welcome to the Gold Diggers podcast on the Gold Standard and the Fans First Sports Networks. I am Rob Stats Guerrera. She is Michelle Majuk, playing hurt on today's show. You're a little under the weather, Michelle, but we appreciate it nonetheless.
Hey. Yes, I'm here. I am struggling a little bit.
Does that mean you have no mimosa today?
No mimosa, but I do have a White Claw. You know, when you're sick, you grab a White Claw instead of the mimosa. Even though I could be using that orange juice right now, there is no champagne in the house.
When you're sick, you go to the White Claw instead of the mimosa. See, we're a full service program. We give you tips on health, tips on life. I teach Michelle what life is like in the men's bathroom because she continues to not know what goes on there. It's a full service program, and we have tons to get to for you on today's show. Let's start with a juicy little tidbit of news because weird things are happening with Ricky Pearsall. Mike Silver came out with an article in The Athletic because that's his new gig now. He's national, but he wrote an article about Pearsall in The Athletic. He said a couple things. One, Ricky Pearsall could not raise his right arm above his shoulder until last week, which is wild. And two, he said that Ricky Pearsall wasn't going to play in the game. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. They just activated him, whatever. But Jennifer Lee Chan said that Pearsall told her that he's going to have 27 friends and family in the stands on Sunday. I don't know about you, Michelle, but I'm not inviting 30 people to come and watch if I'm not going to play in the game.
No, but it might not be his choice. I mean, what if he thinks he's going to play and then they don't activate him on game day? He might assume he's playing, but if they don't feel like he can help them in this game, he's not going to be activated. But yeah, that would really stink for him to have 27 friends and family sitting there when you're not playing.
And there's one more little tidbit to this story because John Lynch was on KMBR this morning, just very recently, probably like 20 minutes ago. And he was asked, is there a chance Ricky Pearsall plays on Sunday? Here's John Lynch.
Absolutely. There's a chance. He's had a good practice week. We got to see how he responds today. We'll make a decision as to whether he's out there, but I think it's trending in a good direction. And, there's a reason we picked him where we picked him. He's a really good football player who we believed is going to help this team now and into the future. And that could start this weekend.
So it sounds like there is a non-zero chance that Ricky Pearsall is going to play, possibly exaggerated by the fact that Jauan Jennings did not practice on Wednesday and he did not practice yesterday. So we could see Ricky Pearsall finally this weekend.
I think that's the deciding factor, right? If Jauan Jennings can't go, then you need to let Ricky Pearsall out there. We'll see how many snaps he gets, how many plays they feel comfortable with him on the field. I don't think we're going to see a ton of them, but it'll be exciting just to see him on the field at all. So I hope he's active.
What I will say is this. I think we're going to see a rookie wide receiver make a contribution on Sunday, whether it's Pearsall, whether it's Jacob Cowing. If Jennings can't go, I mean, I just don't want to see.
If Ronnie Bell is on this field for even one snap, I'm turning off the TV. If he gets one target, I'm turning off the TV.
Or not only that, I don't want to see Chris Conley either. I want to see the kids. So whether it's Pearsall, whether it's Cowing, I don't care. I won't be picky. Pearsall went through the practice and he was absolutely gassed. He was exhausted. So, he may not have built up the stamina that he's going to need to play in an NFL game. So that's something too that the Niners will have to figure out. I just thought that was interesting. We're going to get to the quarterback stuff, but I saw that Pearsall stuff and I thought, well, Silver reported it. So there you go, done deal. And then all this other stuff came into the picture. And now I'm like, hey, I guess it's possible. 27 people in the stands. He better damn play.
He better play. Hopefully get some targets. They could use him. Brandon Ayuk needs to step up as well, like do something. But yeah, these wide receivers are going to have to do a lot in this game because who knows how the health of this backfield. I mean, if Jordan Mason's not fully good to go, you can't be trusting Guerendo back there with 20 carries.
No, I would not do that. Waltony101 on Twitch says, truly ridiculous and incredible that this is even a possibility. Ricky Pearsall was shot a few months ago. He was shot on August 31st. It is insane that he is not only alive, not only going to play football again this season, but could play on Sunday, which is week 7. That is a miracle of all miracles that this is even occurring. And it's so weird because you'll see, like, David Lombardi tweeted the other day, oh, here's video of Ricky Pearsall back on the field after being shot in the chest. And it's like, I'll never get over that. That's exactly what happened. He was shot in the chest, but we just say it like it's a normal thing. It's absurd.
It is insane. And it's insane that we just had this a couple years ago with Brian Robinson Jr., the Commanders running back.
True.
He's back after week 5 as well, or week 4, I think. He got shot in his butt, and he's a running back. He's running around it's like these guys are coming back faster from gunshot wounds than they are from hamstring injuries.
Right. Yeah. Weird thing. Oh, I'd rather be shot than have a dreaded high ankle sprain. What? It's definitely weird. Okay, so that was the Ricky Pearsall thing. We'll talk more about that later. We'll get into some best bets in a few minutes. I see this super chat from Corey says, Brock Purdy stats, 180 plus yards, 1 touchdown, 2 turnovers, 3 sacks. And next week, we're talking about how he's looked up and down this season and not good against good defenses. That is the question with Brock Purdy. What is he going to do against this Steve Spagnuolo defense? I pointed out yesterday, he was not great the second time around against Brian Flores, and Levin corrected me and pointed out that he was good the second time around against Mike McDonald's scheme. So maybe he does, learn the second time around. He doesn't get to face Steve Spagnuolo much. We saw what happened in the Super Bowl. Brock certainly wasn't bad in that game, but he definitely could have played better as well. What are you expecting from Brock this week, Michelle?
I thought Brock played a fine game in his first Super Bowl ever. I mean, that's a ton of pressure on a young kid. That offensive line needs to play a lot better for him than they did in that Super Bowl. That's what it's going to come down to. But I also don't think the Chiefs defense is nearly as good this year as they were last year. And that's the same thing with the 49ers defense too. So you're going into this game, and I know we're still in the same calendar year as when they played it. But these teams are very, very different this year. Christian McCaffrey not being there is huge, but these defenses aren't as dominant as they were. The Chiefs are still very good at stopping the run. So that's unfortunate not to have McCaffrey in this game. Who knows how healthy Jordan Mason will be. It's going to fall on Brock Purdy's shoulders. And I would like to see them. I know before the season, we're let Brock air it out more. Kyle Shanahan has gone too far to that side, right? Let's do some more screens. Let's get some more yards after the catch. It doesn't have to be all downfield. I would love to see this be a Debo game.
Oh, no. I completely disagree with you there.
Okay.
Real quick, I just want to answer this question from Hinkdad, who said, is it possible for Ricky Pearsall to get comeback player of the year in his rookie year? I think it is, because it's about coming back from injury, and they have really specified injury as the main focus of it this year. I mean, if you get shot, you should win it. But then again, DeMar Hamlin came back from the dead and didn't win comeback player of the year last year. So who the hell knows? But I don't think there's any restrictions on a rookie, whether or not.
Going to Cousins or Rodgers, whatever one has the better year. It's going.
Well, it ain't Rodgers, at least not right now. So you said you wanted this to be a Debo game. I don't think that's the way to go, because what I think is going to happen is I think the Chiefs are going to come out like they did halfway through the game in the Super Bowl and go man coverage. They know that Brock's going to exploit the zones. They're going to go man coverage. The Niners are seeing a ton of man coverage. Debo stinks against man coverage. He's not good. It's just not his thing. Kyle Posey
not downfield, but why not get him some screens?
Okay, I'm down with screens. Couple screen passes to Debo, sure. Dial it up for Brandon Ayuk. Damn it. This is his game. Brock Purdy addressed yesterday. Are you seeing more man coverage? Here's Brock.
I've seen some more man coverage and stuff, and honestly, I think we've done a pretty good job still of finding ways to move the ball, even though we do see more man. It's not like man coverage is our kryptonite or anything like that. I still think we got really good ball players that can create separation, and we find ways to win. And so every team's different. I can't promise a team is going to run this because of what the Chiefs did in the Super Bowl. So every game is different.
It's not like man coverage is our kryptonite, Michelle. How is Brock against man coverage?
Last year, he was amazing. He was the second highest passer rating in the league behind Dak at like 128 passer rating against man coverage. He had 17 passing touchdowns, 1 interception against man last year. It's gone down this year, but he's still middle of the pack. He has 6 passing touchdowns against man coverage. That's the 5th most in the NFL. Only 1 interception. His completion percentage is low at 50%, but the expected completion percentage for him on these plays are 48%. So he's still plus in that area. They're just throwing down the field so much further. 10.5 air yards per attempt on these man coverage plays. Like I said, they need to go shorter. They need to let their guys get the yards after the catch. The Chiefs are allowing a good amount of yards after the catch per reception this year. Like that's where they can thrive. I would love to see the air yards come down in this game.
I want to see just keep the air yards up. Just throw it to the guy that can actually separate against man coverage. Throw it to Brandon Ayuk. And if Pearsall plays, that's supposedly one of the things that he's capable of doing too. Kyle Posey has a great article on Niners Nation right now talking about this very thing. And he points out on Deebo Samuel, he has 11 targets against man coverage. He has 4 catches for only 30 yards. Only one player in the NFL with double-digit targets against man coverage has a lower yards per route run than Deebo Samuel this year. He can't do it. You want to throw him a screen pass behind the line of scrimmage? Great. But this better not be the 11 targets we saw in the Super Bowl because that is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, definitely when you're going down field, utilize George Kittle. I mean, tight ends have been eating up on the Chiefs this year. Like George Kittle should have a big day. Utilize him. Utilize Brandon Ayuk. I would love that. I just don't have any trust that they're going to do that. But again, if you can just get the ball in Deebo's hands short, get some good blocking for him, like he can take over a game. When it's a Deebo game, the other team is screwed. I would love to see like Deebo start to have those big runs after the catch and just kind of demoralize the defense more than Brandon Ayuk can do if he, has a couple catches on the field.
I want to see play action to Ayuk, get Kittle involved. He was not involved in the Super Bowl at all. And then you can sprinkle in the screens to Deebo. I'm just fine with that. I would absolutely love that. I think that you may have to mix in some screens, Michelle, because I don't know if the Niners are going to be able to run very well against the Chiefs. They're very good against the run this year. Jordan Mason is banged up. Now he's been practicing, but he's such a physical runner and he's got a shoulder injury. I feel like it would be a miracle if he finished the game because he just runs so hard that at some point that shoulder is going to bother him to the point where maybe it keeps him out.
And the bigger worry with the shoulder is like, okay, so if he plays, we already know that the 49ers have these red zone issues, right? But then they get close to the goal line in this game. I mean, can they really let Jordan Mason in there to try to get that touchdown with that shoulder banged up when he's going to get hit so hard around that goal line? Like that's going to make them even more one-dimensional around the goal line. That's also a worry. It's a bad timing for Mason to be hurt, for Christian McCaffrey not to be back. But I mean, the Chiefs also have their injuries. They're out Rashee Rice. Juju has a hamstring. I know he just had a great game, but now dealing with a hamstring injury. Who knows if he'll play? Isaiah Pacheco's not there. So it's not like the 49ers can be like, well, we didn't have Christian McCaffrey. Like, that's not an excuse. Or, the Chiefs are also banged up. This is a home game. I would love them just to prove that they can beat up on Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs.
We all would love it. I'm skeptical, but yeah, that's sort of the plan. Andre says, why not put in Cowing to stretch the field instead of Bell and Conley? Jennings might not even play.
Because
Andre,
Kyle Shanahan is annoying.
You're preaching to the choir, Andre. I think many of us are at that point. Like Bell, forget. You just punt Ronnie Bell into the sun. Conley, there's nothing wrong with Chris Conley, but like we know who Chris Conley is. And that's, I think, why Kyle likes him, because we know who he is. We don't know anything about Conley or, Jacob Conley, and we know less about Pearsall. And that scares Kyle, I think. But you never find out about these guys unless you play them. And let's be real, Michelle, the Niners have been rewarded for playing rookie players this year. Dominic Pooney, who has a hell of a matchup with Chris Jones this week. Renardo Green made the play of the game last week, intercepting DK Metcalf. Malik Mustafa had an interception in that game on the first possession. He's played really well, played his way into the starting lineup, frankly. He's been the best safety they have. The rookies have come through. So keep it up, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, I already said it. Ronnie Bell, that's just insane to me. Jacob Cowing, Ricky Pearsall, get on the field. Another huge loss, though, would be if Jennings can't play. Like, If
Yeah.
it's between Pearsall or Jennings, I want Jennings, which is a crazy thing for me to say this year. But like Jennings can come through with those big catches on third down.
Don't say that, because last week you're texting me, oh, I can't believe I was so nice to Juwan Jennings.
He still is important. He still is important. He needs to play. He's going to be huge for Purdy on those big third downs. That would be a huge loss for Purdy in this game. A big part of winning this matchup is the defense needs to tackle, right? Because so many of the Chiefs' yards, I mean, it's just all yards after the catch in that offense this year. It's actually Mahomes has the highest yards after the catch percentage of any quarterback in the NFL this year. Well, Purdy has the lowest, which is wild thinking about, the Kyle Shanahan system is normally yards after the catch. But with Mahomes, you got to limit Travis Kelce. Just put 500 guys on him. I don't even care who else gets the ball. And really, Fred Warner and all these guys have to be amazing at tackling this week.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes has 64% of his yards after the catch. Brock Purdy is literally half of that at 32. And it's like way less than anybody else in the league. If you're watching on the stream right now, you can see the bar graph. I've gone to it a couple times this week because it's incredible. It's not just that the 49ers are last. They are so much lower than anybody else. The Niners are at 32%. The next closest is the Vikings at 40%. That is an 8 percentage points difference. That is bigger than the difference between the Vikings and, let's see, what is that? The 18th team on the list. So that is how big the gap is with the 49ers. So they are not doing it the same way this year. The offense has definitely evolved. Good on Kyle Shanahan for adjusting. I think the scheme got to the point, Michelle, where so many people run it, and it's been around for so long now, the defenses have figured out how to stop it, which happens with every scheme. And good on Kyle for adjusting.
Yeah, adjusting would have been good. Good on Kyle, but did he have to go that far? Like, it's too far now. He needs to find a happy medium. It can't be all long throws, especially like if you're not utilized. It'd be one thing. It was like Brandon Ayuk is going off, right? But they're not even using him enough. So it's like, okay, you need to get some back into your screen, some of these yards after the catch plays, some more slants, make things a little bit easier in Brock, because it does seem like everything is so hard this year. It's still getting done. They're still putting up yards. They're still putting up points. They're still, a good offense, but things have gotten way, way harder for Brock this year.
And I think it messes with his rhythm, because normally what we see with Brock is on target, on time. Drops back, finds a guy, throws it, boom. And once he gets in a rhythm, he is freaking deadly. But what happens is when they play the way they've played this year, when those opportunities for in-rhythm throws do come up, he's not as, on it. He's not as machine-like, because he hasn't been in rhythm. He never gets to establish that. So it's like when he does get the looks that he usually capitalizes on, sometimes he doesn't. So I would like to see a little more rhythm plays. That's why I like the play action, because normally when they do play action, it's all very smooth. Drop back, play action, throw to the first read, guys wide open. That's what I like.
Oh, I feel like every single time they use play action, you just know Brock is finding that guy open over the middle and hitting him perfectly. Yeah, I mean, you would love to see them use that more. They have what they need to beat the Chiefs, and the Chiefs are not a dominant team right now. And I know, like, they weren't last year either, but like they are beatable. I know they're 5-0, but they are beatable. They're not this great team. I don't really understand how they just win every single week and what they did last year in the playoffs, but this team is beatable, and the 49ers can do it.
The 49ers are second in yards per drive, 9th in points per drive, 15th in touchdowns per drive, first in field goals per drive, yay, last in punts per drive, last in 3-and-outs per drive. Between the 20s, this damn team is unstoppable. What it is going to come down to is what happens in the red zone. And I will say this, Michelle, because John Lynch said on KMBR that there's a pretty good chance that Anders Carlson is going to be the kicker this week. He stinks. I don't know why they picked him to be the backup to Matt Wright, but they did. No field goals. Even more this week, Kyle. Field goals are failures. He's going to miss a kick in this game. Book it. If I could bet on that, book that he's going to miss a kick in this game. He's probably going to miss an extra point. He's terrible. I would not kick anything if I was Kyle Shanahan.
How are the 49ers on their third kicker? How?
Because they can't cover a kickoff, and so their kickers have to make tackles, and they always get hurt every time they make a tackle.
And if they allow a big return in this game, especially a touchdown, the game's over. Like, you can't give it a free touchdown or a free, easy possession to Patrick Mahomes. You can't do
Mhm.
it. They need to play great special teams. Just don't make mistakes, and they got this in the bag. I really believe it. Like, I think Brock Purdy can win in this game at home. It's just they got to play a clean football game.
Right. And they haven't done that this year at all, which is frustrating and depressing.
And also, like, I just saw something about the refs in the comments. Don't let this come down to a last second play where Patrick Mahomes can throw something up and they can call pass interference on the 49ers. Don't let that be the case. Why not just be up by, 20 points in the fourth quarter, with a couple minutes to go? You
God.
don't have to make it a 3-point game on the last drive where all of a sudden the refs give Mahomes the win because that's what's going to happen.
Or don't let it come down to Carlson, your kicker, right? Like, that's why, and I've been talking about this scenario all week. Middle of the third quarter, Niners are up by 10, driving down the field, right? Just motoring across the field, cross midfield, get to like the 40-yard line. And all of a sudden, it's 4th and 3, 4th and 2. Don't kick the field goal, Kyle. The field goal does not, like, if you kick that field goal, even if you make it, you open the door to the kind of chaos that you're describing, Michelle, at the end of the game. Whereas if you go for it, if you fail, whatever. But I've lost to the Chiefs twice doing the other thing, right? I can't do it a third time. I can't. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, what the are we doing? Okay? No. Go for it, Kyle. And I hope that he does. I hope that he does, because if they get it, they will set up a situation, or they will take that card away from the Chiefs and away from the officials. Please, Kyle, I am begging you.
And if this turns into a field goal game, I mean, the Chiefs have the huge advantage, right?
Yep.
Harrison Butker can make any 50-yard field goal. He's a very good kicker. I don't like saying that, but he is a very, very good kicker. And the 49ers are on their 3rd kicker of the year. I mean, there's not great kickers sitting out there. If there were, they'd be signed and being played. Like, Matthew Wright was maybe the best one available, and he got hurt in the very first game. So not ideal.
No, it's not ideal. I'm praying to the gods that Kyle adapts. I'm not holding my breath, but look, I need a miracle here. He had gone for it a little more earlier this year, and maybe he will. I would love it if he did, even if they failed and he got up to the podium and he was like, I had to change something. We've never beaten them. Like, yeah, that's the answer. Sometimes it just doesn't work out, and we got to live with that. I can live with failing doing that. I can't live with not trying it a third time. So we'll see if the Niners actually do. I saw this combination of tweets from Johnny Dells, who's a great follow on Twitter. The Niners defense is number 1 in passing defense when they don't blitz. When they blitz, they are dead last. And the Chiefs are dead last when they don't blitz. And when they do blitz, the Chiefs defense is first. These are literally the complete mirror image defenses of one another.
So don't blitz is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Don't blitz.
Don't blitz. I mean,
Will that happen? No idea. But it's crazy that literally they're the exact opposites in this game. I'm nervous, Michelle. I just rewatched the Super Bowl again. I rewatched Steve Spagnuolo in an interview with Peter Schrager after the Super Bowl, talking about how, because of Brock being so good against zone, they had to switch it into man coverage. And Steve Spagnuolo has done nothing but praise Brock Purdy last year, this year. He said this week, Michelle, he sees no weaknesses in Brock Purdy.
I don't either. That's why he's on my wall. I have a fat head of him. If anyone's watching on YouTube, I have a life-size Brock Purdy sticker on my wall. I see no issues with him either.
Vinny V, YouTube channel member, says, look at Michelle's background. When she was remodeling her office, this is not what I imagined. Yes. Now, you are going to get some Steelers stuff at some point.
I still have a lot more to put up. This is just the first thing. I have a TJ Watt jersey. I have some shelves going up. It's going to have some other 49ers stuff, some other Steelers stuff. It's going to be kind of a mixture of Steelers and 49ers.
Yeah, you've got me jealous. I'm not going to lie. If any company out there wants to send me some stuff for my background, like, I could use it. I'll take down the shelves if necessary. Like, I could use a bit of a refresh. It's been the same for a while. I put the homage hat up there because I do love that homage hat with the Niners, like the gold paint smear across the front of it. I think it looks really, really cool. But yeah, if anybody wants to give me a refresh, I'd appreciate it. Sean says, holy bleep, I thought that was a digital background. It is not. Michelle is committed.
Yeah. I've given him a hug on my wall. I have done that.
I'm not really sure I would have shared that little detail, but
He's so big. It's so funny.
Vinny says, honestly, the Michelle 49ers fandom, this credit goes to Rob. Well, I have kind of converted you a little bit.
Yeah, my dad's not happy when I sent the picture of my office.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Hope he doesn't come to Connecticut anytime soon, because I definitely probably am responsible for that. All right. We like to give best bets on the show. We will give a bunch. I have a bunch. You have 3. I have more than 3. In fact, I have a couple rapid fire ones that I want to fire at you, Michelle. But we have to start with this because I've been amazed at all week. The Niners have been favored all week, but not only have they been favored, they are now a bigger favorite than they have been at any point this week. They are 2-point favorites. And I know the game is at home, but they've never beaten the Chiefs. And yet now they are bigger favorites than they have ever been. I don't understand why. To me, I ran to make this bet when it was plus 1.5. Now I'm running even faster because it's plus 2.
I could never do that. See, like I have my hopes up right now. It's Friday, we're a couple of days away from the game. I'm feeling like they're going to win. Maybe I'm being a biased fan, but I really do. I think they're going to pull out this win. So I would take the -2 or the money line for the 49ers because I feel good about it. And also maybe this means, I have to look at Juju. It's so funny to be worried about Juju Smith-Schuster's injury report right now. Like it just seems to, but he did put up over 100 yards in this last game playing the Rashee Rice role. If they also lose Juju, now it's Justin Watson they're targeting, right? Or maybe Xavier Worthy gets a little bit more play as a rookie, but he hasn't really done anything yet. Like they're dealing with a lot of injuries on this offense. So it does make sense why the 49ers would be favorite at home. And again, the 49ers should be 5-1. They fell apart twice in the fourth quarter. Now, could they do that against Patrick Mahomes? Sure. But I want to believe that they've figured out their crap.
Somebody said, Nick Eller says, Rob, rushing to bet against them. Now it's higher. Nick, I don't think my $10 bet on the Chiefs to win is really pushing the line that much in one direction or the other. But hey, if you want to go run out and make the bet, like I said, it's your money. You can do what you want, but do it with BetUS. You can receive 150% on your first deposit and 125% on your second and third deposit, all the way up to $2,000 with code YouTube150. So please go ahead and do that. Thank you to BetUS for sponsoring this show. All right, Michelle, you got 3 best bets. I have a bunch of best bets. Would you like to go first or second?
I want to go first because I have the easiest one, and you probably have it too. This is just like so incredibly easy. Do it every week. Brock Purdy over 250.5 passing yards. It's at -113 odds, so you're still getting paid out just fine. Purdy, last year in the Super Bowl had 255 yards against the Chiefs, and like I brought up, the Chiefs defense was better last season. You have a banged up rushing attack. They're going to have to throw a ton because the Chiefs' run defense is good. And again, Jordan Mason has a bum shoulder, and he's hit 250 passing yards in 1, 2, 3, 4 of the last 5 games. The only game he didn't do it, he had 244. Like he's gonna hit 251 in this game. They have to pass. If he doesn't hit it, then I worry that the 49ers may have gotten their butts kicked.
Interesting. That was not one that I had taken. In my head, I keep thinking of like this big bad Chiefs defense and Brock getting confused. And, I don't know. I'm probably overestimating what Kansas City has on defense this year. So I didn't have that on my list. If he doesn't hit this, I don't see a way the Niners can win because I don't think they're going to be able to run enough. Like this is not going to be one of those games where they hand the ball off 40 times and just, run over a team and steamroll a team. That's not what's going to happen on Sunday. So Brock better hit this.
The one way that maybe he doesn't hit it is Mahomes has been throwing interceptions this year,
True.
right? If the 49ers get a couple interceptions, either bring it in for a touchdown or make it a close field where Purdy has to throw for like 20 yards to get the touchdown. And if that happens once or twice, then that could limit how many, long fields he has to take and that. But if that happens, then fine, I'll lose this bet, right? Like I'll be fine with that if Mahomes is throwing interceptions. But if this is a typical game where it's a clean game on both sides, Purdy's getting this 250.
I like that. I'm going against the grain with my first one, but it was the combination of the bet and the number that has suckered me in, Michelle. I'm going to go George Kittle anytime touchdown. It's plus 150. So that means if you bet $100, you win $150. I know he didn't do anything in the Super Bowl last year, but George Kittle has been really the only red zone threat the 49ers have had this year. He has 5 red zone touchdowns. Juwan Jennings has 2. Nobody else has any for the 49ers this year. We're almost halfway through the year. I know Kittle gets attention in the red zone and blah, blah, blah. He's been doing it this year. He has absolutely been doing it in the red zone for the 49ers. At that number, and the fact that, even if it's his only catch of the game, you still win, I have to take it.
I like it. I have someone else scoring a touchdown, but Kittle has been the go-to target, and he should be. And as I brought up, the Chiefs have struggled against tight ends this year. So I think that's a really good bet. And it's plus 150. So you're
Right.
making a decent amount of money on it too. My touchdown one was the Deebo Samuel one. It's plus 100. So Vegas is expecting Deebo to score more than Kittle. And I am too. I know last week was his first time getting into the end zone as a receiver. I don't even know if I see him scoring as a receiver in this game. That's obviously an option, right? But the other option is they get around the goal line. They don't want to put Jordan Mason in there to hurt his shoulder in a goal line situation. They put in Deebo for that goal line situation. There's just, him being able to be used as a running back or a wide receiver just makes this bet too easy for me to take. And it's still plus 100. So you're making back your full money.
That, I think what you said is the likeliest way it happens, is that they get near the goal line, they put him in as a runner, and he just plows in from a couple of yards out. Not a bad strategy, frankly. It could easily happen. I don't think he gets one as a receiver. I could be wrong. I feel like if Deebo's going to get a touchdown as a receiver, it's going to be like what happened last week. 76-yard play, 30-yard play, something like that, a catch and run. He's not really a short yardage receiving threat in the end zone.
He could be, though. Again, do a screen. They could do a little short pass to him. Just they need to have good blockers, right? And that would be another big miss if Juwan Jennings isn't in, because we know how good of a blocker he is too. They really need Jennings, but see if Deebo can break off one of these long ones in a short pass or around the goal line. Just give him some good blocking and he will break some tackles to get in. I would love them to just utilize Deebo more in this game in the correct ways, not targeting down the field against man coverage. Use them the right ways.
James, watching on YouTube, says Juice or Isaac anytime touchdown. This is not an official bet, but I did sneak a peek, Michelle. Kyle Juszczyk is plus 650 to score a touchdown in this game. He got one last week against the Seahawks. They also drew up a screen for him on 3rd and 11 in the red zone, which would have worked if Aaron Banks had made his block. But he's a target, a factor for the Niners in the red zone. At least he has been this year. At plus 650, I'm not doing it this week, but I would understand if somebody plunked down $5 or $10 on that.
Same idea as Deebo getting it, right? They don't want Mason to get the carry around the goal line, so they give it to Juice instead.
Okay, so you have given us 2 bets so far. This is the next one that I have down on my sheet. Patrick Mahomes over 20.5 rushing yards in the game.
Yep.
I hate when Patrick Mahomes takes off to run. It is just crush your spirit scrambles from Patrick Mahomes. Now, he hasn't hit that number at all this year, to be fair, but
yes, he has.
He did? Okay.
Twice.
Oh, geez. What the heck was I looking at?
He hit 29 yards in week 2 and 22 yards his last game in week 5.
Oh, man, I apologize. I must have been looking at the wrong number. Well, it actually works out in my favor. Oh, yeah. You know what? I was looking at the wrong. What an idiot. So good. Even more on me. That makes me feel even better about the bet. He went over it in both Super Bowls against the 49ers. I think what will also lead me to take the over is I think that Bosa and Leonard Floyd are going to pressure him like crazy. They're not going to sack him, but what they will do is cause him to have to move. And once he has to move, I think he's going to take off and run. I think there's going to be lanes because I think Fred Warner is going to be occupied with covering Travis Kelce, and they can't spy Patrick Mahomes with anybody else because Devondre Campbell is a waste of a slot at linebacker. And I think he's going to hit the over on this game. I don't love the number at minus 113, but I'm still taking the bet.
Yeah, I mean, he got 66 rushing yards against them in the Super Bowl. He led the Chiefs in rushing yards. The 49ers actually did a really good job at controlling Pacheco. It was Mahomes they couldn't control. And then also, you just can't turn your back on Mahomes. As soon as this defense turns their back, he's just going to run it if he needs to. If the 49ers are doing a good job actually covering Kelsey, actually covering these wide receivers, Mahomes is like, fine, I'll just run them. Like I'm not gonna just throw a bad throw up. So he'll just take off and run. I think this 20.5 is very manageable for him to get this week.
Want to hear the craziest Patrick Mahomes rushing stat that I have ever heard?
What?
Patrick Mahomes is the Kansas City Chiefs all-time rushing leader in the playoffs.
That is crazy.
In the history of the Chiefs franchise, nobody has more rushing yards in the playoffs than Patrick Mahomes.
That's insane.
Definitely would not have put my money down on that one, but I'm going to go over Mahomes 20.5 rushing yards. Okay, your best bet number 3.
All right, I'm going with Kareem Hunt. I know I just said that the 49ers controlled Isaiah Pacheco last year in the Super Bowl, but just like the Chiefs not being as strong as a pass defense as they were last year, the 49ers are not as strong, just overall defense, but also rushing defense this year. Kareem Hunt's become everything to them, right? It's just like they picked up from 2017 and they're like, Kareem Hunt, you're back. They gave him 27 carries in the last game in week 5 before their bye. 27 carries. He got 102 yards. Even in week 4, when he played on limited snaps, they gave him pretty much all the running back carries again. He got 14 carries in that game. Very first game playing this season. Very first game back with the Chiefs since 2018. He had 69 rushing yards in that game against the Chargers, who are pretty good defense as well. He only has to hit 48.5. Like that seems too low for me. I know the 49ers did a good job controlling Kenneth Walker last week, but prior to that, they've really been struggling against these running backs. So I just don't, if he gets 15 carries, that's only 3 yards per carry he needs. And I just think Kareem Hunt's going to hit the 48.5.
It's up to 52.5 now. Does that change your mind?
Man, I mean, no, but that moved up quickly. So I guess everyone agrees that the 48.5 is a smash.
Okay, 52.5 on Kareem Hunt.
I looked at that last night, like very late last night.
Yeah, it's I mean, look, these things happen quickly, right? Life comes at you fast. Kareem Hunt, 52.5. Yeah, I think that's probably right around the ballpark. If he does more than that, I'd be worried about the Niners' chances of winning, but I think he's going to have opportunities, like you said.
And the 49ers defense has a 55 run defensive grade this year. They're struggling.
Not great.
No.
Man, that is really bad. All right. I'm doing a dumb thing next, Michelle. I admit it. It's dumb. I try to be
Mahomes interception?
No, I try to be, objective about my money. I try not to be emotional, but this one just took over. I'm going Brandon Ayuk over 62.5 receiving yards on the day. And I fully admit this is just me trying to force it in because I want Kyle Shanahan. I want this to be like a 15 target Brandon Ayuk game. Like just let him cook, right? Feed him. You paid him $30 million. This is exactly the type of game you pay Brandon Ayuk $30 million for. It's this one right here. So I want to see over 62.5 receiving yards. Now, look, hopefully if it's Brandon Ayuk, he could get that on 3 catches. It's not like he needs 20 catches to get there, but this is all my heart. This is not my head. I fully understand if you don't want to get on board with me, but this is what I'm doing.
I hope it happens, right? I hope they use him. I think that's the better, that would be great if Ayuk could put up 100 yards. And again, yeah, that is why you paid him. So he could put up huge games against a great opponent like the Chiefs. It's hard to say you feel good about it because they're just not utilizing him enough. Deebo Samuel is sitting at 52.5. And someone just asked in the comments, what does the 0.5 mean? They just put that 0.5 there so you can't tie, You either hit 6, you can't have half of a yard, right? So
they want you to lose if they get 62.
Yeah, exactly. So they just put it as a half so that you're not tying and you're pushing on your bets so often here. But with Deebo, he's at 52.5 receiving yards. He's hit that in 4 out of 5 games that he's played this year.
Okay.
No?
I have no faith in him. He could just as easily have hit.
But why do you have faith in Ayuk?
Ayuk can do it. It's just whether or not they choose to use him that way. I don't know that Deebo can do it. I hope he does, but I can't get on board.
I think they both can get it. I mean, if I think that Brock Purdy's going to hit his over of 250, this can be spread around. And it's not like either of these numbers are outrageous. I mean, I'm saying Deebo Samuel 52.5. If he ends with 53 yards on the day, you're not going to be like, oh my gosh, Deebo had an amazing game. right? Like that's
Yeah.
just an okay game for him. And if Ayuk ends at what is it again, 63?
62.5. Yeah.
Again, if he has 63 receiving yards, you're not going to be like, oh my goodness, like that was an insane game. Like they can both hit this.
See, that's reasoned, logical thinking by Michelle. That's why she does this. Oh, I got a couple more bets, but first, Dark Knight asks, Michelle, should I start Kareem Hunt or Debo in PPR?
Oh my goodness. That's such a hard question. In full PPR, I'm going Debo because I do think they need to utilize him. And I think they should be using him short. And I think he can score a touchdown as a runner as well. And he should get some rushes. So I do think Kareem Hunt is a fine play. I think Debo gives you more upside.
There you go. All right. If you have fantasy questions for Michelle, throw them in the chat and we can get to some of them. I have two more best bets that I like. One is Chris Jones to have a sack. It is plus 110. Chris Jones is really good. Jake Brendel stinks. Aaron Banks is mid. Dominic Pooney looks pretty good. I'm actually really fascinated to see that matchup in this game. Like, how does Dominic Pooney hold up against Chris Jones? But when it's plus money and he only needs one sack, I have to take it.
Yeah, I can see it. I mean, 49ers offensive line is not fantastic. Brock Purdy is pretty good. I feel like evading those sacks, but Chris Jones is a beast. So
I'm going to do this. Chris Forster is my favorite 49ers coach. I have to watch all the press conferences. Chris Forster is my favorite. The man is, not only is he entertaining, but he teaches us about the game every time he talks. I think every week I'm just going to do a Chris Forster soundbite of the week. Here's Chris talking about Chris Jones.
A monster. He's a big, big guy. And then at the same time, he's got athleticism. He can move. He's got quickness. He's got all the things that it takes to be a dominant defensive lineman, which obviously he is. So we have our hands full. We have our hands full every week. Believe me, we have our hands full every week. This one, I just keep waking up with 95, and that's what my everyday is like that. So I'm hoping to get over that dream this weekend.
Nightmares from Chris Forster about Chris Jones. I totally get it. I'm taking him to have at least one sack in the game. Brock may run himself into a sack for all we know. Plus, in the biggest moments, Michelle, Chris Jones is at his best. He is just as big a reason the Chiefs beat the 49ers twice as Patrick Mahomes is, without question.
yeah, and now Purdy was only sacked once in that game in the Super Bowl. He was pressured a ton. I mean, but Purdy's just really good at scrambling, getting away. I wish he was a little bit better at throwing the ball away, especially this year. He seems to be really getting into himself with the scrambling a little too much. But he is really good. I feel like at the pocket presence and just really understanding when the guys are around him and when to get out of the pocket.
My last one, I think I'm taking
But
Brock.
you hate the 49ers this week.
At
This
least
next one too.
At least one interception. It's minus 106, which is not great, but it's pretty much close to getting your money back.
Gross.
Here's what I think. This is why I think it's going to happen. Steve Spagnuolo has a confusing scheme, just like Brian Flores. When any quarterback, but Brock especially, is confused, he holds the ball because he doesn't want to throw it into harm's way. And what happens is eventually pressure comes. And when pressure comes, Brock tries to check it down short over the middle where all the freaking traffic is. And a ball just bounces off a receiver, gets tipped by a defender, whatever it is, and it gets intercepted. That is how Brock's interceptions have come this year. And I could see one happening on Sunday. Niners could still win if he has an interception, but I think it's going to happen. So I'm taking Brock Purdy to have at least one interception.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't think he does. I think he plays a good game, a clean game. I'm taking Mahomes to have an interception, though. That is what I'm doing. He's throwing a lot of them this year. I think Mahomes, without his top target with Rashee Rice, is going to struggle a bit. And I think the 49ers are going to come down with one. Come on, Fred Warner.
Vegas says there's more of a chance Brock throws one. Or wait a minute, am I reading this right? Let's see. Mahomes is minus 117.
Yeah, you're reading it wrong. There's more of a chance Mahomes throws one. Yeah.
Right. Sorry about that. Man, you were
because
ready.
Mahomes is throwing interceptions this year. And my boy Brock is not going to throw one at home.
6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions for Patrick Mahomes this season.
He's the only guy that can have those stats and still be absolutely beloved to no end and be called he's like still the top guy to win the MVP this year with 6 touchdowns and 6 interceptions.
Because I feel like we've seen him go absolutely berserk. Plus, he has all the Super Bowls. So it's like, all right, 6-6. That's not great, but everybody just has
He's
faith.
great.
that
I just love to hate. Hey, he's amazing. Yeah.
Okay. Now I have 4. We've been pretty good this year at like long odds bets. We've hit a bunch of them so far this season. So I just picked out 4. These aren't necessarily things I think are going to happen, but when I saw them, I said, ooh. And at the number, these are all at least plus 975. So they're long odds, but I thought they might have a decent shot of happening. I'll run them past you quick. Give me your yay or nay on each one. First one, Travis Kelce to have 2 or more touchdowns and the Chiefs win. It's plus 975.
Nay. I don't even think Kelsey has a touchdown this year. And the Chiefs aren't winning.
Okay. Shot me down pretty quick. I'm pretty sure Travis Kelce is not going to go the whole year without a touchdown.
Well, no, he's not. He'll score. He could have 1, but he's not going to have 2.
The reason he doesn't have any, by the way, is because he's on my fantasy team. So you're welcome, everybody. I should have just thought of this strategy sooner. Just draft Chiefs, and then none of them will do anything. Okay. Number 2, Xavier Worthy to have 70 yards, a touchdown, and the Chiefs win.
Stop saying the Chiefs win.
It's plus 1,025, which means if you bet $100, you win more than $1,000. And here is my thinking on why this is interesting, Michelle. If Xavier Worthy has 70 yards, he might get it on one play, on a touchdown, on a 70-yard bomb, right? Where he just runs past everybody and Mahomes lets it rip down the field. So that was my thinking of like 70 yards for him may seem like a lot, but he might just, I mean, if it's Isaac Yiadom, Patrick Mahomes is throwing it to Xavier Worthy.
Yeah, and after the game in week 5, before their bye week, Mahomes did mention like Juju had a great game, but we're going to be using different wide receivers in that role moving forward. And maybe they say, hey, that first round wide receiver who's really good, Xavier Worthy is a really good wide receiver. They're only using him as a deep threat so far, but maybe they put him as more in that possession role. He can get yards after the catch too. So that could be a way he could get it. I don't mind Xavier Worthy over 70 receiving yards. I do mind the whole Chiefs winning part of it though.
All right. Well, you're not going to like these next 2.
You don't have any that don't have the Chiefs winning?
No.
Oh my gosh. So you just fully are going into this game expecting a loss.
Yes, 100%. They have never beaten them. They've never beaten Mahomes and the Chiefs. Until it happens, I can't bet against them. I'm sorry. Next one, Noah Gray to score a touchdown and the Chiefs win is plus 1025. If Kelsey's getting all the attention in the red zone, Noah Gray could easily sneak out on one of those play actions where it looks like he falls or blocks, and then Mahomes just lobs it to him over the top. Again, at that number, and all that could be his only catch of the game. Now the Chiefs have to win. That's part of it. But at plus 1,025, I thought maybe.
Noah Gray does only have 4 career touchdowns in 4 career seasons. So it would have to, there's a reason those odds are so high. I still like your Xavier Worthy one the best out of these so far.
Okay. And then last one, Mecole Hardman, anytime touchdown, and the Chiefs win is plus 1,100.
No.
He did catch the game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl.
I get it, but no.
All right. So you were only on board for the Xavier Worthy, and that's it.
Yeah. And really, I don't like that you have to say they'll win. But if they do end up putting Xavier Worthy in that role, he could do some damage. And if he does some damage, then the 49ers will probably lose. So that is my favorite one of yours. I think that's a really good one. At plus 1,200, you said?
The Xavier Worthy's plus 1025.
Nice.
So still,
yeah.
Even if you, bet, what is it? $10, you still win $102. So like, not bad. Dark Knight says, thank you for the super chat. Dark Knight says, did you see what Sorensen said about Campbell and how he's doing a good job? Travis Kelce will tear him up. I did see that. Look, it's not realistic or fair to expect Nick Sorensen to put Devondre Campbell on blast from the podium. He also didn't have to say he's doing a good job. He could have just said what he started to say, which was, we like D. Winters and Devondre Campbell. Like that last part, missed me with that, Nick.
Yeah, he's not doing a good job. That's for sure. And hopefully their plan is not Campbell trying to cover Travis Kelce because that plan will not work and they're going to get devoured. We saw what happened in the second half of that Super Bowl and the 49ers were doing so good at stopping the Chiefs. When Dre Greenlaw was out there, they were able to control Travis Kelce. As soon as Travis Kelce took over that game, they were just unstoppable. If you can stop Travis Kelce, you can slow down this offense.
Devondre Campbell is not doing a good job. His PFF grade is 48.5. And let me just say, if you play in San Francisco and your PFF grade is lower than the nickname of the team, you are not doing a good job. I'm sorry, Nick Sorensen. That ain't going to cut it. But
I think he thinks that fans don't have eyes or something.
I mean, he's not going to bash his guy, but just, I don't care what he says. Just play D Winters more. Just don't put 59 out on the field. I'm sorry. Like,
by the way, I also don't want D Winters covering Travis Kelce. So
that doesn't make me feel funny or feel fuzzy either.
Funny?
But at least it's better than Devondre. Like, at least D Winters might learn for it. It might aid in his development, if nothing else. Devondre Campbell is cooked. He's over the hill. There's nothing there. He's doing nothing for you. Dre Greenlaw, please, please, please heal up. Come back soon. Maybe after the bye is what I'm hearing.
That would be amazing.
Yes, it absolutely would. Okay. Recap your 3 best bets for us, Michelle.
Okay. My favorite one was the Brock Purdy over 250.5 passing yards. I got Deebo Samuel over 52.5 receiving yards. And then also I love his anytime touchdown score at plus 100. And then Kareem Hunt over 48.5 rushing yards.
The official number for the rushing yards is now up to 52.5. But
yeah, 52.5.
You liked it either way. John Veen asks, is Mooney Ward back? He is full participant in practice, Mooney Ward, the past 2 days. So, yes, I guess. Now, how healthy he is, I don't know. But I can tell you that he's off the practice report. So there's that. I like George Kittle, anytime touchdown. Patrick Mahomes, over 20.5 rushing yards. Brandon Ayuk, over 62.5 receiving yards. Also, if you want his receptions in the game, it's 4.5. I would take the over on that, too, because I think if he's going to get the yards, he's probably going to need more than 4 catches to do it. And Chris Jones, sack, and Brock Purdy, interception. Those are my, 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
And I didn't add in my Patrick Mahomes interception. That's happening.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you wanted a Pat Mahomes interception as well.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's how we see it this week. I assume you're taking the 49ers. Are you giving the points? Or are you just taking the 49ers on the money line?
I mean, I think if they win, it'll be by more than 2 points because Mahomes doesn't lose close games. So if it's a 3-point game, it's going to be the Chiefs who win. But I'll take the 49ers. I think they win by at least 6 points in this game.
Corey Soto says the Kansas City defense allows 210 passing yards per game. Brock Purdy over 250, doubtful.
Yeah, they've also looked to see the players they've played against. They gave up plenty of yards to Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. But yeah, against Derek Carr and Justin Herbert, who never throws the ball, no, they didn't give up a lot. It's only been 6 games. You got to look at the quarterbacks they've played against.
Wow, Corey. Michelle just smacked you down. She just gave you a watch the games, Corey.
Well, I looked at the stats, but also, yeah, watch.
She's salty. Salty Michelle playing hurt today.
I don't feel well, all right? Don't mess with me.
See what happens when she doesn't get her mimosa? That White Claw just doesn't hit.
White Claw makes me nasty. No, I'm just kidding. I wasn't trying to be mean there. I was just saying it's only been a 6-game sample size. You got to look at who they played because that matters so much. And they played a lot of teams that don't pass a ton, plus Derek Carr, who stinks. And the 2 good quarterbacks they played against, they easily hit this over with Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson.
Harris says, I wish I was anywhere near as optimistic as Michelle. I hope you're right, Michelle. I want to be as optimistic as you, but I have scars, and the scars run deep. And like I said, it's probably because I rewatch the Super Bowl every week, but...
Why would you do that every week?
Because I am a deeply disturbed individual.
You like to be hurt, is what you're saying.
I'm ready to be hurt again. Let's fire it up this weekend. Make sure you join us for the Instant Reaction Show. We're live after every single 49ers game on YouTube and Twitch. Levin and I will be there, hopefully celebrating. We will see. But we're there. It's our best show of the week. If this was your first show, giving us a chance, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Give us one Instant Reaction Show, and I promise you, you will come back. We will earn your time. Just please give us that shot, and we won't let you down. And I hope that you do. Hopefully, it's going to be a lot of fun. Michelle, what do you got planned for this weekend? Any big social events?
I got to sleep this cold off. That's what I got to do.
Boo.
I might go get espresso martinis tonight if I feel okay. With a friend invited us out for espresso martinis on this, it's a restaurant on this water, but I gotta take a good nap and see if I feel better.
I've never had an espresso martini.
Don't, because they're the best thing ever. And I wish I never had one. I
Okay.
want to go back to when I first was trying one and say, Michelle, Don't do this to yourself because you're gonna love them. It's an issue.
It's a problem. It's a real problem.
Yeah.
I want to see if you react to this the same way Levin did. My wife and I have agreed that I can spend a significant amount of money on a new television, and I am all kinds of excited and pumped up about it. Do you understand why, or do you think I'm crazy?
No, new TVs are great. How big are you going? Like 80 inches?
So I have a 65 right now, so you can never, ever downgrade. You can never go smaller. Like, that's just crazy. The next stop up, I think, is like 75 or 78 or something like that.
Go do it. Go to it. We have a 65 right now. I love an 80.
Oh, my God. I mean, I'd have to put it up on the wall then because our TV stand is.
Oh, you don't have. Oh, if you could spend whatever you want, you're spending the money on the TV plus you're putting it up on the wall. You can hire someone to do it for like a couple $100 or do it yourself or find a buddy or whatever. But it doesn't cost. It doesn't cost much to have someone come and do it, and then they can hide the wires for you. I mean, how are you living in the 90s? Who doesn't have their TV on their wall?
First of all, look at me, Michelle. Do I look like I could hang a 75-inch television on the wall myself?
No, just hire someone. You can find them on an app. They come for a couple $100. It's nice and easy. But yeah, I mean, get your TV on the wall. What are you doing?
Here's my other problem. I don't know how to get it home. I can't fit a 75-inch television in my car. What do I do?
Order it from Amazon. They'll deliver it for free.
Yeah, but then I don't trust them in the shipping process. Like,
Amazon's great. And if it's ruined in the shipping process, they'll refund you in 1 second.
Yeah, but then I got to wait for my TV.
It takes less than a day to arrive. Amazon delivers in a day.
It could get scratched, bumped, breathed on wrong. A pigeon could shit on it.
How else are you going to get it there? You're going to have to deliver it anyways.
I know. I just really wanted to go in the Ferris Bueller drop there. Did
No,
you even recognize that?
No.
Yeah. See.
I've seen maybe a little part of that movie. I don't know.
What? You've never seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
I've seen parts of it. I don't really care for it. I don't really care to watch it.
I don't care for it?
Yeah.
Who are you?
I'm not a big movie girl. I like reality television.
That is garbage. Come on. Reality television is just as fake as the movies.
Oh yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible TV. That's why it's so great. I don't want to watch good TV. I want to watch the worst people on television, and that's what reality TV is.
All right, then. That's going to do it for this edition of the show. Thanks, everybody. We appreciate it. Michelle, I appreciate you playing hurt. I know it's now fun to do a show when you're not feeling good, so thank you very much. Special shout out to BetUS once again for sponsoring this video. We really appreciate that. If you want to sign up for BetUS, use promo code YouTube150 to get the deposit bonus. We really would appreciate if you do that. Enjoy the game, Michelle. I hope you're right. I want to come on next week and praise you for being right.
I want to praise myself as well. I am going to be right. We got one more super chat in here from Cynthia. Should I start? Well, she said, should I sit Jordan Mason or Najee Harris? But I'm going to go with start Najee this week with Mason banged up. Najee finally had a good game last week. They have to run against the Jets to win. The Steelers do. So I would go with Najee.
All right. There you have it. That's the final word. Thank you, Cynthia, for the super chat. We really appreciate that. And everybody that commented on the show. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Join us for the Instant Reaction Show, and we'll talk to you on Sunday.
Bye, y'all.